hear me? Oh, you can hear me now. Hi. So Spider-Man 2099, the one with the fangs and the weird suit, and the one who always looks like he's bad mood away from giving a villain monologue. He lied. Oh, I don't know if he lied. He didn't tell the truth or doesn't know the truth. The Spider-Verse isn't what he says it is. I have receipts. Let's take a look. Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse are two of the greatest superhero and animated movies I've seen. Just the writing, the music, the animation, all of it's amazing. And the cliffhanger from the second movie, waiting for the third, just leaving people waiting impatiently. It's crazy. And anyone who's seen it knows what it's about. It's about Miles Morales as he travels to become Spider-Man and also explores the Spider-Verse, which is a multiverse with different versions of Spider-Man in it. The first movie is an intro to the idea. The Spider People appear by accident, and they have to find a way to save the world and get home. The second movie expands on the idea so much more. Miles learns that not only is the Spider-Verse navigable, it includes a secret society of hundreds, maybe thousands of versions of Spider-Man, from an anime mech to a dinosaur in a Spider-Man costume. There are many Easter eggs and universes implied by the movies. If we want to understand the Spider-Verse, we should also understand the generalized idea, the multiverse. The multiverse appears in many science fiction stories, and it's also a theory in physics. It's the idea that infinite versions of our reality exist that are different from each other, in big or in slightly different ways. It's one of those weird things that you can never really prove unless it happens one day, so it's just a really cool sci-fi idea right now. The ability to go to a version of Earth where dinosaurs are still alive, the pull of gravity is slightly different, or even a version of Earth where the Marvel Cinematic Universe occurs exactly as it did, except, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was always part of the canon. But all in all, the multiverse is a very complex idea, and there are different versions of how it's explained in movie and TV, one of which being the MCU. Lately, the MCU has explored the multiverse in projects like Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, or Loki. This model uses the butterfly effect to explain each universe is a timeline that broke from a main time stream. Each timeline, once broken into a new reality, runs parallel to the others. Certain people can travel through this multiverse, but most of the beings powerful enough to do that do not want to share their power. This means that someone like Doctor Strange or Spider-Man 2099 finds out how to access the multiverse. But when they do, they don't know how it works, and so they just try to use the power. And this usually causes problems, because using the multiverse to access many timelines and alter the paths of worlds can cause an incursion, which is an event where multiple universes collide. In the case of the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man 2099 caused an incursion of his in another universe's world. After the event, he didn't know what was happening, so he looked for the cause and comes up with a theory that it was his meddling in events that had to happen that caused his in another universe to collide. In an effort to protect the multiverse from incursions, he learns more about Spider People and their common events. He makes a list of the canon events that happen to most Spider People and starts teaching his theory that if a canon is broken, that's when the universes collide. The MCU isn't the only thing we should be observed, though, when we're talking about the multiverse. Rick and Morty is an animated sci-fi show that has 7 seasons now, and explores many different ideas, a large sci-fi element of the show being the multiverse. It's explained early in the show that there's a Rick for every universe they go to. This might sound weird, because it kinda is. Spoiler warning for the show, by the way. In later seasons, it's told that there are many versions of Rick, but it's because they all gathered together a while ago and trapped the part of the multiverse inside of itself. They call it the central finite curve, and it's only revealed because someone's trying to escape. The term basically means that they made a cage, and inside are the universes with version of Rick. It closed off the infinite amount of Ricks inside the infinite universe from the rest of the universe without Rick. Different amounts of infinite are definitely confusing, but I think it makes sense enough. But, William, what does this have to do with the Spider-Verse? Okay, let's put all the pieces together. Okay, aside from my general dislike of Spider-Man 2099, just because he's not really Spider-Man, he has fangs, he's a vampire, and his suit doesn't actually... There's another video, maybe. Okay, I just don't think we can believe him. I don't think we can trust his version of the Spider-Verse. For many reasons, but, what does he know? Really? Sure, he has some first-hand experience, but it's not like he did much to find out the reason why. He kind of just accepted that people have to die. He tells Miles that his father just has to die because that's what happens. It's like the equivalent of trying to solve a puzzle, but you just throw the pieces in the trash. Who does that? Let's look at the evidence, because he's applying a theory that he made based on his experience, but It's a theory that we can see now. It's just not true. Evidence 1. We know that the MCU multiverse and the Spider-Verse exist in the same multiverse because of the scene where everyone's explaining the canon to Miles. A photo is shown that connects the Spider-Verse directly to the MCU. Yeah, that one right there. Not to mention that Miguel mentions that he knows about the events of No Way Home. So there is proof that the two sections exist in the same multiverse. So whatever theory Miguel has should at least match with the MCU. But MCU incursions do not have to do with the canon events as much as generally meddling with different worlds for no care for their effects, which is what Miguel did at first. He went from crazy to probably very overly cautious with just letting people die. Evidence 2. When Gwen's dad steps down from becoming the police captain, he avoids a canon event that would have killed him, aka canon events are not what Miguel says they are. The universe changed the canon, and it did not die. Unless Gwen's world breaks in the next movie for no reason, this shows us that the rules Miguel put in place are just not true. He made a theory of the multiverse based on what he knew, but that theory has been proven to be more of a theoretical model. Miguel is using an incorrect model. Evidence 3. Remember the whole Rick and Morty thing? That's Miguel. He created the Spiderverse to explain the multiverse. But since there are universes where Spider-Man does not exist, it just can't be true. In implementing his ideology, he cut off all the Spider people from the rest of the multiverse. And if I had to guess, the tech he uses doesn't even have the ability to leave the Spider-Verse because of the incorrect model. Just like Rick trapped the central finite curve, Miguel has trapped all the Spider people in a false idea of the multiverse. And just like in Rick and Morty, that false belief is bound to collapse. So wait, you're telling me that in the end, Miguel isn't necessarily wrong. He's just trapped in his own theory of a multiverse that he made. So what? I'm implying that for the last movie, they're going to have to break out of the Spider-Verse and go beyond the Spider-Verse?